Boker Tov, Shavua Tov, Likutei 1, Zayin, Tinyana. Rabbeinu said, nobody will know my Torah unless you know it aloch ve'apoch. You don't understand the Torah Likutei 1 unless you know it forwards and backwards. Because it's not really forwards, it's not really backwards, it's one mahalach. We'll show you later as we're going through it. So we always go back to the beginning to be able to remind ourselves, and then we're going to have to go from the end back to forward. We're speaking about mercy, Mr. Buzan. What is the characteristic of mercy? Who by definition needs to have mercy? Leaders. A leader's job is to think of others. You've been given a soul, a mission to help others. Malchut is like a certain spiritual thing to have malchut. It's not necessarily it has to do with wisdom or it has to do with a lot of things. It has to do with leadership. But if you have that capacity, it has to be used for others, not for yourself. And the main thing to use it for others is to have pity on them. And the pity is really to save them from the worst things that they could be doing to themselves. The worst thing that a person could do to themselves is sin. The worst thing. Because averot are going to cause him all the problems in this world and mainly all the problems in the next world. So the tzaddik, his job is to get people out of sin. That's his job. How do you get people out of sin? Well, people only sin if they're not in touch with reality. If they don't know why they're here and why they're alive and what they're doing, that's why they sin. But if you know the purpose of the world, you know about Hashem, you know what the truth is, so his job is to spread the truth, to give that people should stop doing averot. That's his job. When it comes to giving that, says Rabbeinu, it's not enough to do it when you're alive. You gotta, after even 120 years, still give over that. You still gotta give over your wisdom. And the reason is because we're here to give pleasure to Hashem, to give nachat to Hashem. The nachat to Hashem is only in this world. In there's no nachat to Hashem, because it's like robots. Somebody who has no free choice can't give a pleasure to Hashem. Somebody who has free choice and through his free will overcomes what he shouldn't be doing, that gives nachat to Hashem. So if you're going to be in eternal bliss in the next world, that's good for you. But you're still a little bit not doing for Hashem. To do for Hashem is only in this world. We're going to connect to that later, what that means. What's the benefit also. But basically, Rabbeinu said, make sure that you don't leave this world without a son or a student, a ben or a talmid. Because through them, you're going to continue in this world. Through children that are doing what you taught them to do, or through a student that you gave him over the right path, you're still in this world dressing up in him. When he's going to speaking over, my father said, my Rebbe said. So actually they're dressing up in these duburim and they're continuing in their mission in this world through you. And you through them. The Rabbi said then, but guess what? A student, and everybody can have students. And everybody can have children. Because everybody can be a student and everybody can be a Rebbe. How? I don't have a Talmidim, you do. I can be once your Rebbe, and you can be once my Rebbe. If I have something that I'm teaching you and I give you chizuk, and you through that advance, I just became I'm the mashpia and you're the makabel. I'm giving over and you're receiving. But sometimes you're going to tell me, I saw an amazing thing, I have an idea, you're living something. So each one that we speak in Yirat Shamayim to each other, mekabelin den miden. You have to know that the purpose of interactions is to speak in Yirat Shamayim. Nobody has everything. Only Moshe Rabbeinu has all the nikudot. But you have a lot from Moshe Rabbeinu. You have a lot from Rabbeinu. You have a lot. And what do you have? I need to gain it. So I want to pick out what you have, some chizuk, some avodat Hashem, for me to be able to advance. But I also have to give to you. So we're receiving from each other. So not only it's actual real child, or not only a real student that sat by you in the yeshiva for all those years, it's anybody that you're mechazik in your lifetime. That becomes your students, and through them you're living in the world. Through those people you're continuing, because that which you received is continuing to happen. That's what Rabbeinu said, and really it's all one. Because a student, that's what we said at the end of Odal, a student and a Rebbe, a student and a Talmid is one thing. A child and a student is one thing, because when you teach Torah to somebody, it's like it's your child. It's like you created his body. And when you have a child, well, the child is your student. It's not meant to have a child that's going to do wicked things. So it's all one thing. Rabbi said, Ben and Talmud is one thing. Hold this on now, because we're going to need it later. And then we went into Otei. And what did we say in Otei? Chidush Gadol. Very nice idea. Got to mechazik other people. Or got to get chizuk from other people. Because really what we're looking here is that to have a Talmud, you need to be a Talmud. Right? In order for you to give over what you got to get. What are you giving? What do you have to give? You're part of the chain from Moshe Rabbeinu. but it has to be inside of you. You have to live it to be able to give it. So Rabbeinu said something amazing. Chazal say two statements. That one is Kon mi sheyesh bo yirat shamayim dvarav nishma'in in Otei. Let's read it again. Omnam mi sherotze ledaber im chavero biyirat shamayim. You want to have this segula, you want to be able to have talmidim, or you want to get that to be able to give it over. Tzarich yasta biyirat shamayim. Utzarich shiur bo yirat shamayim. Kedei shu dvarav nishma'in etzel chavero. So that your friend will actually hear your words. כמו שאמרו רבותינו ז"ל, כל מי שיש בו יראת שמיים, the Gemara says in מסכת ברכות ו' עמוד ב', anybody has יראת שמיים, דבריו נשמעים. His words are heard. People listen to somebody who has יראת שמיים. You can't explain it, but you feel the energy of a person. You feel the tzaddik, this guy. You see a Baba Saleh, you see a Lubavitcher Rebbe, you see a Rab Chaim Kanievsky. You're in awe of them. You're going to listen to what they say. Why? It's who is them? Because they speak well. There's a lot of people who know a lot of things. A lot of people speak maybe better than them. It's because the energy of Yirat Shamayim that they have automatically will put a Yirah on you. They're fearful of heaven, so you're fearful of them. So if you're fearful of them, you're going to listen to the message. Gam, first thing. Second, is so that the words that were said will have an everlasting effect and stay with you. Because the Pachot explains this like this. Okay, the guy doesn't have so much Yirat Shamayim, but I'm looking to grow. We have a pasuk that says, the Chazal say, whoever's speaking truth, listen to him. So the guy's not a big Yirat Shamayim. He can't tell me a vort, he can't tell me a chidush, he can't tell me something he learned. Of course he can. Now, if most people won't be in tune, not going to listen. But if you really want to listen, you really have Yirat Shamayim. You want to hear a message from Edwin. I don't want to waste my time. What does this guy have to tell me? I'm tuning in, I'm listening. You're going to try to listen, and you will listen. And maybe for the moment, intellectually, I got something here. But you know what happens? If the source doesn't have Yirat Shamayim, tekef umiyad over ve'olech hadibur milev chavero. The words don't stay. Even if I'm trying to internalize, the words don't stay with you. Ve'na ve'enu mitkayem etzel chavero. It's no klal. They're not a kiyum. It's not long lasting. It's not part of me anymore. In one ear, out the other, I forgot about it. It's gone. I don't change from it. I can. צריך לזה יראת שמיים. כי מי שיראת חטאו קודמת לחוכמתו, the Mishnah says in Masechet Avot, חוכמתו מתקיימת. It says over there that whoever has his yirat shamayim is placed in front of his wisdom is mitkuyam. Simple pshat is by him. You learn a lot. You learn gemarot. You learn danachot. You learn things. If you're not going to apply what you're learning, if you're not going to have yirat shamayim, if you're not going to be shomer yourself in purity, everything you learned, it's not going to be long lasting. There's stories of tzaddikim that remember everything. They remember the Torah. How come? Because if you have yirat shamayim and your actions are in purity, so the mind retains what it's learned. That's the simple pshat. But Rabbeinu says an extra pshat on that. Kol shemishirat cheto kodemet lechachmato, chochmato nitkayemet. Hainu sheyesh kiyum lidvarav etzel chavero. What he says will stay inside of your heart. It's going to last. I have a friend. I remember young. He'll never miss a day of tefillin. Never. Didn't grow up so religious. Doesn't have Shabbat in the house. Kashrut, I don't think. But tefillin, he won't miss a day. I asked him one day, I said, how do you? So what can I tell you? Rabbi Raskin, they had a bus to the Lubavitcher Rebbe once. I went there. My mother put me on the bus. And in 770, there was, the Rebbe comes down, and it's like Chat Yam Suf. You ever saw the videos? The Rebbe comes in, everybody goes on one side and the left side, and the Rebbe comes in the middle, he goes to the bima. He says he's a kid 13, he doesn't know the rules. So people are going, he doesn't know what it's supposed to do. So he's standing in the middle. This little kid is standing in the middle, and the Rebbe comes down and now face to face with him. The Rebbe looked at him and just did like this. You know the Lubavitcher Rebbe like that? He said, when he did me that, I don't know what he did inside me, but he put inside me a kedusha that I'm never able to pass one day without putting tefillin. I don't know, he put inside me the tefillin, that I got to put on the tefillin. for one movement. And he'll never forget it in his whole life.
Give me shivers.
Huh?
Give me shivers.
He doesn't miss tefillin. He doesn't miss it. Things that Rav Kenning told me, simplest things. Stay deep. You can hire another guy, can speak all day, nothing. You leave the same. Whoever, so what is Rabbeinu telling us here? Yes, you want other people. Look, Rabbeinu is saying, if you want to speak Yirat Shamayim, if you want to get, make sure you have Yirat Shamayim. But actually, what he's really saying is if you want to have what to give over, it has to be inside of you. Because otherwise you don't really have anything. And how they get inside something you depends on the source that you learned from. Who is the person that's teaching you? Don't look for fanfare. Don't look for the amount of watches that he has. Don't look for this, for the eloquency of the speech, and look for the kedusha. That's why we go to the talmidim of the talmidim of the talmidim. Who is the tzaddik over here? I rather hear from a tzaddik, a simple dibur, than from somebody who's not tzaddik, drashot and drashot and drashot. I rather hear one word. That's why the Gemara says, I'll tell you a story. During the 14, 15 years I knew Rav Kenning, so we didn't have children. And so Hashem orchestrated it that the Rav had a lung transplant, and he was in Monsey for many years, 14 years after lung transplant, that the doctor said, we're only going to give you a lung transplant if you come twice or 3 times a year to check out the situation in your lungs. And the Rav accepted. And it was a little bit of a break from him. In Sfat, there was a whole community, and there was private. It was quiet. It was in a certain man's house, Jack Klein, Shechir, Tzaddik. He hosted the Rav. He's a wealthy man, but he uses his money for tzaddikim, and he had a shul in the house, and there's a forest, and there's a mikveh. And, I met the Rav, and I read in Montreal, and from there I was like, I gotta stay next to this. And the Rav he encouraged me to come to him every time he was there. So everybody remembers, the Rav's in Monsey, I'm gone. The kollel knew, I told him, I'm only joining your kollel. I'm telling you, I'm leaving when Rav Kenning is in Monsey. My wife was happy. The whole story is how my wife saw the great merit. And my wife had a big family, a lot of brothers and sisters, 13. So she would go to her mother, her sister. She was happy. I'll be there 2 or 3 weeks at a time. After the years, during the years, what happened was I was in kollel, and you're doing tests, you're advancing, there's chomer, and whether you like it or not, the material that I would learn covering ground in the kollel when I was in Monsey, it's not the same. You're not really on your own schedule. The Rav comes, the Rav goes, we're going to go to the forest. It's a lot less of the Gemara and the Halacha. It's a lot less. It's a lot of Likutei Moharan. It's a lot of talking with the Rav. It's a lot of going to the forest with the Rav and just seeing the Rav and every little thing. I would have the zchut to be there the whole few weeks. Sometimes I'd spend there, and sometimes the Rav would spend a month. And I would come back and forth a few times a year. We had to say that Uman Rosh Hashanah, after Uman we go to Monsey, then to Pesach again with the Rav after Pesach to Uman, and then again after Pesach again to Monsey. I had like 14 years of non-stop. It was like Yom Tov after Yom Tov. It was really a Yom Tov. A lot of the friends couldn't stay as long. They had wives and kids, and when I had my son, the Rav told me, go home. You're not staying here. The derech eretz that he had, as soon as my wife needed help, he kicked me out. But for those years, he made me stay by him. And one time I'm there, and I had a seder, I think a Masechet Chagiga. I was going with you in Masechtot, and I remember I couldn't stop thinking one day, I'm thinking to myself, I'm here, and it's good, but is it really worth it for me to come here? Because I'm missing out on the Hespekim of the kollel, and my seder is not the same over here. I can learn much better at home than I can learn over here. Is it really worth it for me to come? I'm thinking that. Imagine. I'm thinking that, and I'm opening up the Gemara. On that day, I get to a Gemara, and the Gemara says, there was Bar Beirav Chada Yoma. There was a Rav, Bar Beirav, one day. Why is he called Bar Beirav? He's a Talmud of the yeshiva for one day. Why was he called Bar Beirav Chada Yoma? Because he would go learn in the yeshiva of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan was in Tinyana. He was living in a certain place, and it used to take him, Pshat Rashi, there's different Pshatim, but Rashi says, it would take him 3 months to walk there. He'd spend there one day, and take 3 months to walk back. So why not stay long? Because you got to be at your house for Sukkot, and you got to be at a house for Pesach. So after Sukkot, I can't remember if it was after Sukkot, he would leave after the Chag, taking 3 months together. He's there one day, tomorrow I got to leave already. So he'd leave. So the students were making fun of him in the yeshiva. I'm learning this on that day that I'm thinking, is it really good that I come here? And I'm learning this because I'm mivatel a little bit time. I'm learning this, and then the Gemara says that the Talmidim came out and started to make fun of the guy. They used to call him Babi Rav Chadiyoma. He's only one day in yeshiva. Rabbi Yochanan came out and said, don't make fun of him. Don't get punished by making fun of him. And then Rabbi Yochanan said a drash, Yom Yom Yidrishun. If the Torah says you're going to learn Torah every day, Yom Yom. What, you only learn Torah in the day, you don't learn Torah at night? So anyways, the Gemara says over there, anybody can learn Torah one day a year. You can only learn one day a year, so it's like you learned the whole year. He can only learn one day a year, so it's like you learned the whole year. You're working, and you only have a lunch break. You can't learn so much, but you take that 20 minutes at lunch. And you're taking at night a little bit of time. And Sunday you take the extra. Every extra hour you take, it's like you learn Torah all the time, because I do what I can. So they told him, that's what the guy can do. So I thought to myself, I said, that's what the guy can do? That's not what he can do. He could take a book, he could take a scroll, he could get himself a tutor, he could go to the local Beit Midrash, wherever he is, and spend 6 months learning. If you have 3 months to travel, 1 day and 3 months to come back, so why do you have to go to Rabbi Yochanan? Learn wherever you are. So you could say that's what, everything was Baal Peh, and the Mishnayos already existed, and there was scrolls with all. Sit home. If you already have 6 months, so sit. You see from here, 1 day by Rav, one day by Rav. Oh, it was 1 day by Rav, Babi Rav. He used to go to the yeshiva of Rav, in Babel. It wasn't Eretz Yisrael, it was in Babel. And he used to go to Rav 1 day of the year. And Rabbi Yochanan, he told the people over there, don't get punished. Funny if Rabbi Yochanan was my Rav, or Rabbi Yochanan said it in his place. Either way, spend 6 days, spend 6 months. You see that 1 day by Rav is not 6 months alone. 1 day by Rav is not 6 months alone. Why? Because what the Rav tells you goes so deep inside of you. You're going to be much better off in your life by being 1 day by Rav. By the way, later I'm going through Sefer Hamidot, and there in Sefer Hamidot there's a note that says, Ra'ui levatel zman Rav nimtzot tzaddik. All the time that you're wasting going to the tzaddik, it's worth it. Don't think it's bittul. I'm going to go to Uman, it's going to take me 10 days. I don't have time for learning. I'll stay home and I'll do 10 days of Avodat Hashem. No, go there, spend, in time of Rabbeinu, sometimes take a month to travel. Spend 3 months to be by Rav for 1 minute. Because that 1 minute you're going to hear from Rav, it's going to change your life much more than 6 months on your own. And by the way, you know what the source that the Rav of Chirin brings on that Sefer Hamidot is this Gemara. So I'm there and saying, is it worth it? And I see the Gemara telling me, of course it's worth it. Later I saw that Rabbeinu brings that same thing. And the reason is, because whatever they tell you stays with you forever. There's Rab David Karo, he lived in Sfad now, but he was living in France. And he told me that in France, in the yeshiva that he was in, there was a Gaon over there. A Tamid Chacham, a Matmid, he was Kadosh, committed. And once he asked him, how did you become like this? So he told him, what can I tell you? One day, I had a chance to walk with the Chazon Ish. I had one time, I walked like half an hour with the Chazon Ish. From that moment, I'm never the same. 1 half an hour in your life with the Chazon Ish, you will never be the same. 1 moment of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, you will never be the same. Because those things, the kever of the tzaddik is the same also. The kever of the tzaddik, the Rabbeinu is there. He's dressing up his dibur through the people there. 1 Uman Rosh Hashanah, 1 dibur in your ear by the tzaddik, yeah, you did. That's going to be with you forever. So now you are a Talmid because you receive from a place of Yirat Shamayim. The main way, though, is not the kever. Yes, the kever, but the Talmidim that are, the Talmid that was there, when the Talmid was there, Rabbeinu said, Ashrei ha'inayim shera'u et ha'inayim. Praiseworthy is the eyes that saw my eyes. That means there's a second pair of eyes. V'kenu lidorot. Can't remember if Rabbi Natan said, who said, V'kenu lidorot. The eyes that saw the eyes, that saw the eyes, that saw the eyes, that's what we're looking for. Because it's not an inyan of wisdom over here. It's an inyan of Rabbeinu. What do we say in Chaim Moharan? I'm a sur bira be'emet. I have no evil. So therefore, all my Torah is completely pure. I have Yirat Shamayim purely. So the tzaddik will tell you, tzarich liot besimcha. You know what it means when he tells you, bisameach. It's not when the other guy tells you bisameach or the sticker tells you bisameach. Because he has such Yirat Shamayim that when he told me bisameach, you're going to bisameach. And you're going to have that to be able to give to somebody else. So that's why, it's funny, the Rab would always say, Shamati me'abba. Shamati me'abba. Ha'abba היה אומר, I heard from my father. And Abba היה אומר בשם Rab Avram. I heard from Rab Avram. I heard from Rab Avram. I heard from Rabbi Natan. I heard from the Rabbi Shimon. I heard from Rabbeinu. The whole Moharan. Shamati b'shem Rabbeinu. Shamati b'shem Rabbeinu. Shamati b'shem Rabbeinu. Because when the source is pure, so then you become pure. So our job really is, if we look forward in the Torah, get Yirat Shamayim to give over stuff. But actually what it's saying is go to a source where there's Yirat Shamayim, take from that source where there's Yirat Shamayim, then whenever they tell you, it's going to become part of you. And if it's part of you, you have it to be able to give to somebody else. From here we see that it's not enough. You need to be part of the chain. We have to look for the real Talmidim who are the real Talmidim. We have to be connected to that source. And we have to work on our Yirat Shamayim to be able to give over. If you really want to affect somebody, I want to tell them, I want to teach them, it's not working, they're not listening.
Sure.
You do something. Yeah. Work on your Kiddusha. Work on your Shmirat Habit. Trying to get the guy to change. I'm trying to tell my wife, I'm trying to tell my kids. It's not them, it's you. Your message is not with Yirat Shamayim. Think about your Shmirat Einayim. Think about your Shmirat Habit. Think about how you are. How's your purity? Then any message you say, it's going to go in. Chazak Baruch.